12 minutes gone past 4. You're listening to 92.3 Nigerian Info. I am Kala Dakaru Batabo. Hard Facts is the show. And it's time for us to look at a very interesting, in my head it's interesting. I hope I am able to present it so it becomes interesting to you as well. Now, I looked through news platforms today. I tried to find what is current, so we could have a robust and a conversation for development. And everybody was talking about, Atiku, PDP, opposition, coalition, ADC. So I guess we are back in, we can now say that we are in the pre-season of political activities in Nigeria as, election draws nigh. And by 2026, we will see primaries, conventions, all of that happen, and we will get candidates who will fill in what position in what level of government. But while all of that is going on, it's good to also prepare the mind and the consciousness of the voter. In 2023, it felt like a sugar rush. People just woke up one day and all of a sudden they wanted to participate. It wasn't well planned. It wasn't well thought of. And maybe that's the reason why a lot of them went home disappointed. Anyways, I'm going to be looking at what is happening, the PDP, the fate of opposition in Nigeria. We will trickle that conversation down to Rivers State. What is happening? We'll still revisit that conversation on when the governor is likely to return, why has he not returned, and many, many other issues as it concerns politicking in Rivers State. And this individual has he's been saying a lot of things on Facebook, and I've been following his political rants and political predictions and prophecies and postulations, and that's why I want to have an argument with him on the show today, because whenever he's on the show, we always argue. It's always an argument, and I'm looking forward to it. Andy Akpotive, Socio-Political Commentator, welcome on the show. It's good to have you.
Thank you so much, Canada, for having me. Good
All
evening.
right. So you've seen the news.
Yes.
Atiku has left the PDP. Yesterday, my conversation was who will be the king of the North politically now, given the fact that Buhari has passed on. And, 2011, Buhari had the most votes from the North. 2015, he won the election with the most votes. 2019, the same thing, right? Some people say probably was instrumental, it's blocking the APC, were instrumental to Tinubu becoming president in 2023. Now he's late. Who do you think, does Atiku have that capacity?
Okay, so the North is divided largely into 3 zones. So there's the Northwest, the Northeast, and the North Central. So what we knew before the emergence of President Bola Ahmed, former President
Muhammadu
Buhari, was that we had people who, at best, were the strongmen of the North in each of these zones.
Yeah.
So you had people who were the strongmen of the North in the North Central, the likes of the Bukola Saraki, and the father of the former Senate president. You had people who were, the strongmen in the Northwest and all that. You knew before even the emergence of Kwakwaso, there was the Habaka Rimi, right? Who were the people who were the strong people. But if you noticed, and the President Muhammadu Buhari's emergence did not just happen. In 2007, you saw his votes largely coming from the North. And up until the merger, if you may, of the different political parties, which to my mind happened because of him. And I'm taking the conversation somewhere. The entire essence of the political party called APC was centered around an individual. If you may, 2 individuals. But one stands a lot taller than the other. The first and most important individual was Muhammadu Buhari.
Okay.
May God rest his soul. When I say this sometimes, I say it because it's what society expects us to say.
Let's keep that.
Let's move on. But let's leave that. So now, the second figure is Tinubu, because Tinubu understands that there was no way he was going to emerge. That's why you saw him playing with his political party, with Atiku and with Ribadu. There was no way he was going to emerge with that political party that seemed to be largely rooted in the West, right? So he needed a figure that was going to rally the votes of the North and rally the vote of his own interests. So the APC as a political party stood on the ground and on the threshold of the individual who became the name of the North, Muhammadu Buhari.
Okay.
I had predicted before he died,
shortly
before he died, on Facebook and a few stations that invited me, that what's happening right now, you are going to see a lot of the southern governors moving to the APC, and that because of the very fact that INEC has not been disrupted, because of the very fact that the judiciary is still what it is, and the chief of staffs are still there, no one would be able to win a President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But there was going to be a disruption that would change that. And that disruption will be as a result of a death that will happen.
Okay, so now let's come to the question now. Can an Atiku rally the North?
So I'm going there. There's no way an Atiku can rally the North. There's no way. Because, you see, an Atiku is seen differently. Is appreciated differently. Is seen as a part of the establishment. It's not seen as a part of the, the downtrodden, the talakawas, if you may. If you recall, nobody became the central figure of the North with that kind of persona that Atiku brings to the table. Nobody.
Okay.
From the Atiku's political godfather, right, to Abubakar Rimi, to even the Southerner, all of the people who were able to take the North, as it were people who presented themselves to the North as one with the North, as people who were as poor as the North, as people who understood everything about the North. But Atiku is seen largely as an elite. Atiku is appreciated largely as an elite. So it would be wrong for you to assume that Atiku would be the natural person that was going to come and take on the North. My prediction is that you would find that the elements that are loyal to former President Muhammadu Buhari and Atiku's camp would go head to head to see who becomes the natural leader of the North.
So what happens to the PDP at this point?
So the PDP is a political party that is gone. It's completely gone. PDP is completely buried. There is no way the PDP can emerge to even win, by my calculation, to even win any of the states.
What if Nyesom Wike decide, Atiku is gone and there is nobody challenging him in the party?
He understands that he doesn't even have that kind of clout and that kind of money to fight these strong forces. There is the force from the Bola Ahmed Tinubu side, and there's the force from this merger side. There are a lot of things happening in the country that would be good for the people of Nigeria eventually, if it happens the way it happens. But there's no way you can find a Wike come out and say that he wants to contest, because he doesn't have what it takes right now to do this war, to do this battle. Don't forget, politics is war, essentially.
So, the argument when Atiku was in the party, or while Atiku was in the party, was we want a southern candidate, not a northern candidate.
Yes.
So if PDP gets a northern candidate now, don't you think maybe just
a northern candidate or a southern candidate?
A southern candidate. Don't you think someone from the south? Don't you think that will make those people who were not supporting the party rally around the PDP and make it a tangible or a robust, solid opposition party?
So ask yourself, everyone listening to me, who is in the PDP right now from the south that can have that kind of clout to win an election?
Makinde?
From the north to the south today.
Makinde?
You think so?
I'm asking.
A Makinde that's barely won.
He's a governor.
That barely won his election in in his state, a Makinde that struggled in your state to win the election there. You think a Makinde can win in Ekiti State? There's a Fayoshe, and a Fayoshe's stronghold in Ekiti State, and you find that both of them have been at loggerheads. The truth of the matter is that I see the calculation of the coalition. If they attempted to bring an Atiku as their flag bearer, there is no way. Kalala, let me say it on your show for the first time. There is no way Bola Tinubu will not win, except for natural reasons. There's no way by the political permutations and calculations. If an Atiku becomes the presidential candidate of the coalition, it was close to impossible for them to be able to win.
So who then will we say should the coalition pick as?
Simple. So this is the formula. If they are listening, this is the formula. If you must win a President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you must win him. You must shake him to foundation and win him. You must do something that Bola Tinubu did in 2015.
Which is?
Bola Tinubu understood that I must be the president of this country, but I cannot be the president of this country if I viced a Buhari. So he brought somebody who was from his own stock and made that person the vice to Buhari, and remained the political leader of APC.
Okay.
So that when the time came for him to strike, he took it. And Atiku must understand that same card must be played now, so that he sits down and says, a Peter Obi. Now listen very well. If it doesn't happen like this, Canada, you are going to invite me on this show. If it doesn't happen like this, a Peter Obi must be made the presidential candidate.
Not an Amechi, not Erufai.
No.
Peter Obi.
No. You cannot have an Erufai even be a vice, and you would have people from the south, particularly, or the middle belt, vote him. You can have a few people because from the permutation, we think that Nasser Erufai is handling to get the structure of Muhammadu Buhari, right? But what must be done is that swing state called Kanu. You know, when we listen to...
Okay.
Yes, that swing state called Kanu.
I want to pause you. You know how it is. We do have a commercial. When we come back, we'll talk about Kanu and swing states and the PDP. Do stay tuned. All right, thank you for staying tuned to 92.3 Nigeria Info Hard Facts. Kalada Kurubatibo is my name, and it's a pleasure having you on your other side of the radio. Joining me to have a conversation, or with me in the studio right now having a conversation, is Andy Akpotive, Socio-Political Commentator. It's good to have you back, Andy.
Great to be here.
All right, so we're talking about the PDP,
Yes.
and you were talking about swing states and all, but while I would want to continue that conversation, but for the sake of time,
Yes.
let's bring it to River State.
Yes.
River State has been PDP.
Yes.
You say PDP is gone.
It's gone.
So what then happens to River State?
Very likely, you will see the emergence of the conditions that we know, we are aware of the conditions that we know, we are aware that was given are conditions that are not so cool with the.
Do we really know? Do we really
that
know?
we know? That
do
we
we-
know.
do
Don't
we
worry.
really-
Don't worry about it.
I mean,
you are journalists, so you may not know. But some of us are field men. So we on the 24 hours we're having conversations.
It could be
with
a
heavy
rum-
stakeholders.
It could
right?
be rumors.
No. With heavy stakeholders, I speak when I say heavy stakeholders. You're going to see these things come to pass before the end of this month. Canada, say you know that when I make political predictions, but for two of them, they come out exactly as I predict them.
Okay,
right?
so-
I'm going to say to you on your station
so
that you
what
will
are the
find that
conditions?
the governor would return,
Okay.
but some of his strongest men that you and I know, right? And I can mention them.
Yeah, you can mention
so
them.
the chief of staff is likely not going to return. Some of the deals would be such that the chief of staff is not returning. Yeah, the secretary to the government is not returning.
That's
And
the Nago.
Yes, and I can say to you that the man who held sway in Obiakpo is not going to return because the power that
Chijioke.
yes, the power that that currently control everything about River State, even though that was tilted somewhat because of this emergency. So let me go back to it again. If you looked at the budget, for instance, the budget is a big factor for whatever it is that is happening in River State right now. Some people think it's just because of the need for peace. No. I say to people that at the core of every conflict is resource allocation. At the core of every conflict, whether locally, whether internationally, at the core, central to every conflict is resource allocation. Once you found that the resources was allocated in certain way that it presented the people who seemed to have the upper hand as the ones who were not begging. They knew it was important to settle because the current budget is such that you would have to renovate the secretariat. Go see how much is there budgeted to renovate the secretariat. You would also have to renovate the Songhai farm. Go see how much is there budgeted for this one, and some other, very lush whatever it is that they had put in the budget. Now, the person who holds sway, the person who holds the lever of power, will determine the agencies, the contractors that are going to be given the whatever to run those things put in the budget, to be able to stand in the future and say the budget performed. We implemented the budget 97%. And because largely the people who control Rivers State now, whether you like it or not, and this is Andy saying it, are not Rivers indigene.
So you're saying the structure has left the hands of those who were fighting.
A lot of people will tell you no, but trust me, it is out of political naivety. The truth of the matter is that there is some subtle fight going on right now amongst the big three who were responsible for what just happened in River State. There is the big three, right?
Who are the big
right.
three?
There's the big three that
the
head of the executive, the head of the legislature, and the one who represents River State in the executive. They are the big three, for instance. The big three have got strong stakes. They are holding on to, because you see, from our political calculation, there are swing states in Nigeria that would always determine who wins election. Kano State is a swing state. Lagos State is a swing state. Rivers State is a swing state. It is very important that whoever wanted to win election in Nigeria must understand that I must control the structures the structures of this state, the political structures. If I did not control it, it is very likely that you are not going to win the election. Therefore, what has happened now that you are calling settlement is so that we can go back to status quo and not allow the foreigners to come and steal our commonwealth whilst we are in wilderness, groping in the dark.
From what you have said, the PDP in River State is also a collapsed structure.
Absolutely. It's totally collapsed. So the PDP in River State is totally. It doesn't matter what they say to you. They can call now and say, and it doesn't matter. With time and in time, you are going to find out that the PDP in River State is even collapsed.
I want to say something, right? The third force, what can they do? Given what you've just analyzed.
A lot. Because the coalition, they are shopping for strong men. They are shopping for people who are natural leaders. Right? Beyond the fact that Erotimi Amechi is leading the coalition in Rivers State, the people who are in the coalition understands the mathematics of winning elections in Nigeria. That elections are not necessarily won by your casting your ballot on the day when people go to, vote. They know this reality. I've often said it. It is not about how much English you are able to speak, right? Elections are won by, the kinds of structures that you have.
And strategies.
What we call, not necessarily strategies, structure. Okay, I have said structure on this your radio station that structure in Nigeria is equal to two things. The amount of money that you have, particularly that you can deploy on election day, and the amount of violence that you can deploy. That's what is structure. The people who can deploy this violence and money are people who are taken to be structure within the political enclave of states and of Nigeria and of the entire country. If you couldn't wield so much money or so much violence on election day, nobody was ready to reckon with you. You would just be speaking English on radio.
I don't know which guest or who the guest was, because I've had different sides to this conversation, different perspectives, and the person said that there is no way you can build a structure in Rivers State. I think it was Marcus Ijoma, that there is no way you can build a structure in Rivers State without Rivers people being involved. Now, if you say the big three are fighting for the structure, and you've just called the structure money and
the amount of violence you can deploy,
you would need men on ground, like you're saying.
Yes. And it's going to be Rivers Indigen. That's why I'm saying that they are shopping for the men. That's why the people that would eventually go to form this third force are people that will either say, let us listen to Oga, then they will follow Oga, or they will say, no, Oga has dealt a wrong hand to us. Therefore, we must listen to the external force that have got interest within Rivers State.
I have to open the phone lines. I'm going to be, throwing at you very quick questions. If your argument, right, if your prediction, because it feels like you're playing a bet now, a political bet. If your predictions, your short odds come to pass, what does it mean for the governor? Because as it is now, it will mean that the president does not trust the governor. Going by what you've argued, the big three, they're shopping for structures. That means the president is not confident in the structure of the governor. Then there's also probably the trust issue from the FCT minister's angle, which is the other, member of the big three. And then there is, the Senate president.
So the Senate president essentially,
who is the Senate president probably just having fun.
Essentially is and I don't know whether you will not say I should use alleged. So for the Senate president,
if you're going to use alleged.
Yeah, so what he calls structure is money, largely.
Okay.
So wherever the monies can be made, if I must get somebody who will be the RISEC person who is from a different state, whose allegiance is not to either of the two parties, the ex or the current, which means I can determine who becomes what.
Okay.
And that largely is what is structure. Who is going to hold sway in 8 local government or in 15 local government or in 23 local government? Who are the people who would hold sway, be loyal to, right?
Yeah.
Because he that pays the piper, ultimately, dictates the tune. So whoever is responsible, elections is not voting. See what happened in Lagos State.
Okay.
The entire state, the entire local government and LCDs, they were all swept by the APC, but for one councillorship.
Okay.
Canada, how can you tell me that that's an election?
Andy.
Yes.
What's the best option for the governor at this point?
So
ADC, PDP, Labour Party.
So the best option for the governor right now, if he's listening, is to hibernate. Is to hibernate and play the fool, right? Play the fool and not let them know he's jokers.
Do you think the other people
and not let them? No, because there's a way to play it. For instance, I think that there are even if you are playing the fool, you do not allow that your entire armory be taken from you. What I think that I didn't like with the governor, right? With the governor for Andy Akpotive is you don't go to the negotiation table from a weak point. No, you go as the meal to be devoured.
From the weak point, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
On that dining table of negotiation, you must go as a co-diner because the meal is there, even though the one who is the stronger one will request the biggest part of the meat. But you must go as a co-diner, not as the meal to be eaten. He presented himself as the meal to be eaten, right. And that's why some of the things that we are seeing today is happening. However, he's going to come back, Alada. My predictions must happen on your session. He's going to come back, and I see him coming back before the end of this month. Once it happens, call me. I see him coming back.
You don't see an extension to this?
No, definitely, because what we are seeing in the political firmament.
You've just said
yes
that Akpabio is very much interested,
and the one who is the godfather of Rivers politics understand these nuances.
But
he has also read it.
But it looks like
it has left his hands,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So he's going to deal the card to the presidency, for instance, to say, see, I am seeing what's happening right now, Mr. President.
Do you think the president trusts Nyesom Wike?
Very important question. The president that I know, I was in Lagos, raised in Lagos, and I understood that the president that I know, the president does not see what he did to his deputy. He ran his deputy out of town. I'm not talking about Kofi Olabokno. I'm talking about the deputy who changed the direction for him when Obasanjo came against him. Right? Femi Pedro. Yeah, Femi Pedro literally was the one who opened the resources, who opened him into the resources that helped him to sustain government in Lagos State. Right. But guess what? He ran Femi Pedro out of town.
All right. It's time for me to go to the listeners and get their contributions, and I like to start with WhatsApp before I read out the phone numbers. And this one says, Mr. Andy, my friend, I disagree with you.
It's all right.
Obi can't win a state in the core north where the votes are high. Learn from the last election. Obi can't even win in Ekiti or your state. What is the political plan of the South and the Southeast in the next 4 to 8 years? The North is not like that. With the mistreatment he has meted on them, Obi can only win in the South, and Southeast, and he can't win Tinubu, but Atiku stands a chance to win Tinubu.
So Kalana, you didn't allow me finish. Atiku as the godfather of the new coalition, with a Kwankwaso as a vice to Obi, is a deal. It's a deal.
You mentioned,
you didn't allow me finish. I was going to say that.
I don't have time.
Yes,
I actually, with Kwankwaso will not agree.
There's no way Bola Tinubu will be able to win that. Okay. Win that ticket.
So you can
way.
You can see the phone lines there.
Yes.
I need to read a lot of messages and go to the phone lines. We have limited time, 15 more minutes or less than. This is good afternoon, Canada, and the guest. I strongly disagree with your guest. Peter Obi or any other southern candidate cannot wrestle power from Tinubu. Only a northern presidential candidate may be able to do that.
Is he willing to take a bet? Is he willing to place a bet?
Eric Chooks with that.
Ask him, because if you ever give that ticket to a northerner, Bola Tinubu will win before the votes are, you will win so quickly that you will be imagining what happened if you if you attempted to give the ticket to a northerner.
And let's listen. This says, I think your guest is not correct. is speaking on the angle of bias. Atiku came second in the last presidential election. If ADC must win this election, they must field a northerner because Nigeria election is based largely on ethnicity and tribalism. And Obi will not be sellable to the northerners. With the exit of former President Buhari, Atiku stands a chance to becoming a rallying point of northern voters because of the suffering and heavy insecurity currently in the north. All Atiku needs is to get a VP candidate like an Obi or Amechi if they must wrestle power from President Tinubu. Anything other than disarrangement will likely fail. John from
How did they sell President Muhammad Buhari to the South? It took the coalition. It took the interest from the South. It took a Bola Ahmed Tinubu and a few other people to get a President Buhari to be sold to the South. All you need is to get El-Rufai, Atiku and a few people, and they will sell a Peter Obi to the North.
Andy, this one says, I've always said that Atiku's desperation and over-ambitiousness will surely collapse the coalition. He believes that party presidential ticket is his entitlement. Hence, he jumps from one party to another. Christian Williams from Igbo. And I'll take one last one so I can go to the phone lines. Kelvin Iyobo Frank in Port Harcourt. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's departure from the People's Democratic Party was timely. Else, he may have gotten the shock of his political career that also had potentially paved the way, or you say that also has potentially paved the way for the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, to rejuvenate the party. However, I still harbor some doubts, given that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had previously attempted to woo the minister to join the All Progressives Congress, which he currently serves as the minister of the FCT. He is also watched by the president. Calvin, thank you. Now let's take this call. Joseph calling from Eleme. Joseph, welcome. I'd like to get your thoughts quickly. Go straight to the point. Straight to the point, please.
I see the coalition giving their presidential slot to former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi.
Interesting.
I believe Obi will place the Labour Party presidential candidate.
All right.
But I will plead that the North should rally around Peter Obi. Like we've heard that the president and the vice are not in terms. That is the allegation. I believe that the vice president and other northern bigwigs will queue behind a candidate, and if that will be a win-win.
All right, Joseph, thank you very much. I've got your thoughts now. Let's listen to Clinton from Bori. Clinton, welcome. What is on your mind? Talk to me.
Let me start by saying this, Kalada. Kwakwaso is the next president after Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and it's going to be the running mate to Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. Do the math. Then coming to Rivers State, your guest said that a third force is going to win in Rivers State. I don't think the third force winning in Rivers State. The governor is coming back, yes. It's part of the political family. And there's no third force. Amechi will not come close behind the doors and will take over River State. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Clinton. I've got Temple from Iche. Oh, my Miss Temple's call. Jude from Omuma. Jude, welcome. Quickly, straight to the point. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I guess has not answered the question you're asking severally.
Which is?
What will become of the Governor Simila Ifuma?
I think it did.
Because Governor Simila Ifuma is presently of PDP. And he said PDP is gone.
just wait until he returns.
Are you saying he's going to defect?
Just wait until he returns.
No. What's your prediction? Are you saying he's going to defect?
Kalada, just wait until he returns.
All right, so Judy says we should wait still.
Are you saying until he returns?
Yes, he says until he returns.
If he returns, you think PDP will be strong again?
He's saying PDP is gone, and so the
PDP is gone, but he's going to return.
But the governor will not be. I think he's insinuating he's not going to be part.
Gone with the governor.
Is it gone?
Just put it that way. PDP is gone.
Is the governor gone with the PDP?
No.
His teaming supporters have all left him.
Okay.
There's nothing that is left with the governor similar Ifubara again.
Okay.
PDP is gone and gone with him.
All right. Thank you. PDP is gone and gone with him. You say Douglas calling from GRA. Douglas, good afternoon to you. Welcome.
Yeah, afternoon to you, Kalada. Yeah, before I get into my contribution, I would like to ask if it's possible to share my contact with your guests I'll place a bet with him, 1 million naira.
Yes.
You
can share it. Canada will hold
money?
it.
The combination that beats the current president in 2027. Whichever combination. I say so because there is no permutation he has ever placed that came through.
Oh, wow.
He said that an Obi will win Tinubu. It didn't go through. He said that Simula Efibara will not scale through. It didn't come through.
Okay.
Tell him that I will place a bet with him. None of his permutation will beat the current president in 2027.
All right.
Now, let me talk about that issue. This thing they are saying is a coalition. I don't see it as a coalition, and I see it as a misrepresentation of the fact.
Okay.
What is happening is a defection of people into another party. Serial defectors.
Okay.
You see, when people coalesce, they come from different groups. They bring different groups
together. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
When
I agree.
NEPU, Northern Elements, Progressive Union, and the UNPC.
So basically, different groups come together to form another. I get you. So
group and NCNC formed UNPG. Sorry.
So Douglas, I don't have time. I understand what you're trying to say.
Let me conclude.
Yeah.
Let me conclude.
Yeah.
Please. It is no brainer for this set of people to be going around deceiving people, telling them they are after our interest. They are after their own personal interest. Because look at all of them.
All right, Douglas, thank you. I've got to move on. I'm really sorry. Look, man. Okay, so fine, let's come back to you.
So that's not the point. Douglas has missed it.
It was airing his views.
Whether it's the PDP, APC, or coalition, who says any of them are after our interest? It is essentially about their interest.
ADC says
no. Let's not be deceived. None of them,
that's what he's trying to say.
including the APC, is talking about. I will place a bet with him. If you fielded any candidate from the north against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu,
okay,
I have never lost political predictions.
He says you have,
but no. Let him mention it. But for two, all my predictions, including that a similar Fubara was going to be taken out before the end of the month if he did not do 5 things. I said it on air, and he did not do it, and it was all my political predictions came out exactly. But for two, that Rotimi Amechi was going to be the political, the flag bearer of APC. That was the one that did not come out, and that Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the end of the day, his election will be upturned.
Did you say Obi would win the election?
No, I had not even. Where did I even mention that? I had not even mentioned it.
Okay.
You know, when we were even doing the Obi thing, I said there were 2 candidates that Obi must have. If he didn't have them, he's like not going to win the election. That's number 1, Kwankwasa, and number 2, the then Emir of Kano State.
Okay.
That if Obi ever had either or both of them as his vice, he was going to win that election. And I'm saying it now. Let him hear. Let him place a bet. If they attempted giving the ticket to a Northerner, Bola Tinubu will win before 12 o'clock that day. But if you give it to an Obi,
and the time is up, right? And I want you to make a prediction. Will the governor defect?
Very likely he would.
To the APC.
Yes, so the governor's movement would be determined by what his political godfather would say. His political godfather is watching the climb, is watching the firmament, is watching what is exactly happening to know whether it's going to move immediately or he will hold on. Because he cannot fight it alone. As it stands, he cannot sponsor, he cannot support the PDP alone.
Goodbye. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for causing problem on the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.